Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Chic and Ask the Nerd podcast, Chic YouTube channel. Today, we're going to talk some more crypto. So, again, you're seeing that we're taking some time to talk about cryptocurrencies. We've been developing in them for many years. If you haven't heard about our background, go back and watch the intro video that we did. And so in this, all I'm trying to do is answer some questions that more and more people are asking. You know, with Ask the Nerd and Nerd Chic, we just want to answer questions that you guys have. And so one of the questions we were asked is crypto here to stay or is it a fad? Now that's a very good question. Is crypto here to stay or is it a fad? Me personally, not a financial advisor. I'm also not involved in any government level of how this all works. And so I can't tell you whether or not it's going to be a good investment forever. And I can't tell you whether or not there's going to be some governance that's coming that I don't know. But what I can tell you is from the development side what I see. And so here's what I see going on inside the development side, on the technical side, from the nerdy side, the techie, which you really want from me, right? I see adoption. It all depends on where the adoption is. When you see more and more of the big players get involved and say, hey, we need a piece of this, there's more and more interest, like Square or PayPal. When Visa comes out and says, we're going to start letting Bitcoin settle, and we're looking at other cryptocurrencies, you've got big players that are on the financial investment side, and they're trying to do ETFs. Other ones are saying, we won't touch that with a 10-foot pole. Some of the big banks are saying, like Bank of America, no way. And you've got other banks that are interested, you know, JP Morgan Chase, whatever. It's all over the place. So let's just look back at the history of it all from about 2009, 10-ish, all the way till now. What's the difference between then and now? Well, number one, if you walk down the road and someone says Bitcoin, people know what it is. When I first started, people thought we were crazy. Like, what's a Bitcoin? Can you hold it? I'm like, no. Is it like a coin? No. It's encryption. It's blockchain. It's written. It's code. They're like, yeah, that's not going to take off. Well, guess what? Bitcoin being at over $60,000 per Bitcoin right now, I think it took off just a little. And even if it doesn't continue on, think about what it's done so far. Now, some investors are saying there's a value there up to over $100,000 per Bitcoin. I don't know. I'm not a financial advisor. But from the development side, I'm looking at projects. There's some amazing projects out there. There's projects built into this technology that create a new decentralized finance system, a new decentralized internet where big servers don't control what you see and where it lives. So if a big server from Google goes down, all of a sudden the web doesn't go down. We're looking at decentralized finance so that things can be done without 4 and 5 different players getting a cut. The miners get a cut sometimes, but inside the real reality, it's not humans that can make errors. It's smart contracts that legitimately sign things. There's people embedding their artwork where we used to just trust some kind of art dealer to keep up with a contract, and now it's connected to something that's in a smart contract in the blockchain. It's hugely transparent. People were talking about how transparent it is now. In the early days of Bitcoin, there's some Bitcoin that was used for dirty, bad things. But now, even leaders from our government, whether it's CIA or whatever, are speaking back into it and saying, hey, if you think about it, especially the currencies like Bitcoin in themselves, they're highly transparent. We can go through and explore the blockchain and see the transactions that took place. And they're looking at ways that they can actually regulate what transactions are good or bad. They're able to look at money laundering, that kind of thing. Now, there's some cryptocurrencies out there that are used incorrectly. Don't get me wrong, but people are starting to talk this way. I'm not saying whether or not there's good, bad, whatever. I'm saying that there seems to be more talk, there seems to be more adoption, and there seems to be more understanding about what's going on. And so when you're able to walk down the road and talk to someone who doesn't know anything about technology or anything about investments, and you say Bitcoin and they know what it is, there is a certain level of brand awareness, a certain level of human psyche and adoption. And the more people feel comfortable with something, the more times they hear it, the more they hear it in the vernacular, the more likely they are to utilize it. So if the big players are starting to get in and they're doing what's necessary to create transactions with it or through it or by it, and then other players are using it for projects, whether it's for creating another country's own cryptocurrency based on their fiat currency or other things like that. Guys, I got to tell you, it looks like it's going to stick. When countries are putting their money into creating their own version, it means that something may stay around. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that Bitcoin could become a functional gold in this world, even though it really doesn't have that value. It's whatever's being placed in it. It's whatever the adoption's, doing. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. And here's what I want to say at the end. At the end of the day, it looks like to me that it's going to be around. This doesn't seem like a fad, guys. It's got more and more and more practical usage. And as more and more big players hang their hat on it or they stake their business on it, there's less likelihood that the government's going to wholesale come in and take it out or it's going to fall down. And I'll tell you this, at the end of the day, some of these amazing blockchains, well, because they're so decentralized, they're not really hackable. Some are open to attack, but some are not. And even the ones that are not necessarily proof of work anymore, they're proof of stake, they're going into that world, they're coming up with new ways to make sure that they can't be moved, crushed, or taken. There's more and more transparency coming in leadership as the SEC is getting involved, like they did with XRP or Ripple, whatever, right? You get it? So again, the question was, is crypto here to stay or is it a fad? Well, being that I'm developing my own right now for the projects I do, and I'm attaching my blockchain to that, I hope it's not a fad because it's really useful. So from a developer perspective, it's useful. I love it. I love that there's a way that people will literally power my projects and get things done for me, and they're rewarded in the process. That's just incredible. It's like having a whole team of people that work for my business and they're being paid and I don't have to figure out how to send them checks. That's just cool to me. So it's being adopted by developers like me all over the place. We love the fact that this thing can actually help us connect the dots and create a bigger, more decentralized, more powerful computing platform, internet, financial systems with better governance that is not open to as much human error. Is it a fad? I hope not. You guys, thanks for tuning in to Nerd Chic. I hope this has been a little bit helpful. If you got any other questions, hit the comments and ask them. I'm so loving this. You guys are asking great questions. I'm going to give you as best answers I can give. If you want more on this, go out and research it. But hopefully this is a good launching point. These videos are only here as a launching point to help you from a developer's perspective in my nerdiness versus an investor perspective or whatever. I am not a financial advisor and I can make no guarantees. But this is what I see from our current reality and from being in the field for like 11 years. Okay? All right. You guys have a good one. Thanks for tuning in to Nerd Chic and Ask the Nerd podcast. Take care.